my last video, I shared why I didn't achieve my goals in 2023. And I also shared a little bit of my goals for 2024. So in this video, I'm going to be going more in depth on my 2024 career goals as a school dietitian. So these goals are not general career goals. They're specifically for this current role that I am working as a school dietitian in Pennsylvania. Before we get into it, I just want to say, I hope the shadow's not annoying. I can't really do anything about it, you know. I work a full-time job, and sometimes the only time when I can film, or the only time when I have the energy to film, is when I go home from work and the sun's gone. So we have to deal with artificial lighting for right now. With that said, let's get into it. Got my goals on my computer. Technically, I put them on my notes app, but because I'm filming with my phone, I have to look on my computer. So, get my mouse. Okay, so as a quick background, I am a dietitian for a school district, and I work for Chartwell's K through 12. So I do work with K through 12 students. I have a kind of like home school district that I work for, but I also spend some of my time working for just kind of any school district in Pennsylvania that is contracted with Chartwell's. If you don't know, Chartwell's is a food service company, so we provide the cafeteria food that the kids eat at school. I do a lot of things in my position. I would say the main things are I do events, which are, you know, done for the purpose of nutrition education. I do create modified menus for students with food allergies and medical conditions. And I also do nutrient analyses, and that is for not only my school district, but school districts throughout Pennsylvania for when the state comes in to audit us and make sure that we're following the rules for the school breakfast program and the national school lunch program. With that said, let's get into my goals for this year. The first one, I wrote monthly employee praise. I think that it's really important to encourage your employees. This might sound kind of weird, but I am in a managerial position, so all of the kitchen staff, you know, the cooks, the assistant cooks, the associates that are helping to make and serve the lunches, you know, they're at the registers. All of those people are employees, so they're like organizationally under me, if that makes sense. And I'm kind of like part of the admin, the people that are like more managers. And I think it's really important in that kind of a leadership role to encourage the people around you and make sure that they feel valued and appreciated. And, you know, it took me a while from when I was first hired to kind of get the hang of things and feel more comfortable and confident in my role. But now that I am feeling more comfortable and confident, I'm thinking about things that are kind of more like above and beyond. And something that I do want to do is recognize more employees for things that they're doing, more of our kitchen staff, you know, taking initiative and having a positive attitude and just doing a really good job. So I started doing that at the end of 2023, and I want to continue that in 2024. And every month I want to be recognizing at least one person, just so they know that all of us in the admin office, you know, we're not always able to get out to the schools and the kitchens, you know, every week or whatever. So I just want everyone to know that like we recognize what a great job they're doing. The next goal that I have is to continue visiting all of my district schools monthly when possible. So this was actually a goal that I had at the beginning of the school year, so like August 2023. And I have, for the most part, actually achieved this so far, been doing it. And I want to get out to all the schools and all the kitchens because I want my presence to be known. I kind of want to know a little bit more about what's going on and learn from everybody there about what's happening in their cafeteria, maybe what issues they might be having, what's going really well, what works really well for them, any, you know, feedback, suggestions for improvement, things that I can help with. I also like to be there to answer questions and I will sometimes, provide guidance on things, provide feedback on certain things. I do check certain things when I'm there. So it's really great to get out to all of the schools, and I just want to continue doing that in 2024. The next one is super important. My goal is to implement an allergy removal form, and it is January 11th, and I guess I've already done this, check off the list. I started working on this allergy removal form in 2023, and then I kind of got the last bit of feedback on it at the beginning of this year. I know it's still the beginning of the year, but even more beginning, and kind of finalized it. And then I contacted the head nurse to get her approval on it. And then once I got her approval, which I did get yesterday, this morning I sent out the form to all the school nurses, and I kind of explained what it is, which you might be wondering. And basically what it is if a student already has an allergy in our system, and we do require a doctor's note for us to be able to honor that allergy. And let's say the parent of that student wants to remove the allergy. So we actually don't have a process for that. So I wanted it to just be more standardized and to leave less room for confusion by creating a form that parents can fill out, because what we had been doing was accepting just like freehand written notes by the parents, just being like, hey, this is my student, can you take off such allergy, like they're not allergic to it anymore. And sometimes there would be questions, and it's just not as like neat and easy to read, especially when you're looking at like multiple. So I just wanted to make it easy. So we created this form, we sent it out. I also printed a bunch of these forms, put them in labeled folders, and sent them out to all the schools. And I sent an email out to all of our cooks and assistant cooks. And so I think everybody's in the loop. And I have not had a parent use it yet, because like I said, I just sent them out today. But I'm excited to say that I already achieved this goal, because this was something that I really wanted to do. And then at the end of 2023, I was just so busy with other stuff that I didn't know when it was gonna get done. But I'm like, it needs to happen January. We gotta get it done. And we did. This next one is similar. It is to complete and implement a special diet form. So we just talked about the allergy removal form. The special diet form is like the initial form that we get to add an allergy to our system. This is one where a medical professional would have to fill that out. Now this might be surprising. It was definitely surprising to me when I was hired on, but we actually don't have a standard form that the doctors have to fill out. So usually it's just like a typed up note, and they're like, such and such child has allergies to these things and can't have them at school. And like, that's it. And there would just be so much information that we needed left out. There would be things that were confusing, that made no sense. Like, doctors don't always understand what allergies are. So like, we get a lot of like, oh, this child's allergic to lactose. Well, you can't be allergic to lactose. You can be intolerant to lactose, but you can't be allergic. And then it would cause all these issues, because if the doctor says they're allergic, the nurse will honor that, but then we have to treat it like a milk allergy. So even though the child could have pizza and maybe just can't drink like fluid milk, we would have to refuse it, because since the doctor said it was an allergy, we have to treat it like a milk allergy. And if you're allergic to milk protein, you can't have anything that has milk in it. So that was a long explanation, but basically we just want to make it more clear, more standardized, similar to the special or to the allergy removal form, but this one is even more important. And I've been working on this as well, getting feedback, making edits, and it's just kind of a longer process because it's a bigger project and there's more information involved that we need to collect on this form. But I want to have it done and approved and everything so we can implement it for the 2024 to 2025 school year. So that does need to happen pretty soon. Next goal is I want to create a more consistent note writing system for nurses that the kitchen staff also understand. Because the nurses put in the notes, actually, like, I can't put in a note, and if I change a note, it will save, but then overnight it will revert back to whatever the nurse wrote. And sometimes like the notes are just super long, they're hard to understand. There are questions. And then sometimes like the way that different nurses write notes are like, it makes sense to them, but then when I see the note and I reach out to the current school nurse, they'll just be like, oh, like, I don't know, another nurse wrote that, I have no idea what that means, which is obviously a problem because we all need to understand what the students' food allergies and restrictions are. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm gonna do, but I'm just hoping that like all of the cooks and assistant cooks and I can just get together and figure out like what would be the easiest way to format writing, you know, that someone can't have, you know, XYZ, and just coming up with as many possibilities as possible, and just trying to create kind of like our own language where like we all understand what's going on, and then of course collaborating with the nurses and getting their feedback and just trying to get more on the same page. So that's another goal that I have, a little bit less clear of how I'm going to achieve that, but it's on my radar. We're not even halfway through, so I don't even know if I'm gonna get through this today. If you're interested in a part 2, put it in the comments below. Okay, so this next one is a little bit more fun, and it is to provide trainings on general healthy eating for staff. And I was thinking like it's more for like their personal life rather than like for serving the kids. And maybe we could create a poll where they could like, you know, pick which of the topics that I would like to present on that they would most like to hear about. And I think this would be fun because I haven't done anything like this, and obviously like we're trying to serve healthy meals to kids, and when I say healthy I mean, you know, balanced and, you know, containing a lot of nutrient dense foods. And that kind of all starts with you. Like, you can't really help other people if you're not helping yourself. And I think it's good to just kind of understand a little bit more about healthy eating, because it can help when you're actually serving meals to the kids. And if they have any questions, you might have a little bit more background on nutrition. And I think people really are interested in healthy eating, but they don't know who to go to. And there's all these different sources out there, and a lot of people giving nutrition advice online are not actually educated properly in nutrition. So I think that this could be a really beneficial thing that people will be interested in. I also traveled to a school district, which is something that I regularly do. And one of the kitchen staff members there said that, you know, 'cause I guess she's been working for Chartwell's for a long time, I guess they used to actually give kind of like general healthy eating classes for the associates every single year, and they stopped doing that. And she was really interested in potentially like going to, you know, a community college and taking some classes there or something, just because it's a really interesting and valuable thing to know. So that's something that I'm interested in doing this year as well. Next, I wrote, my goal is to finish with one event at each school. So basically my goal from this past school year, 2023 to 2024, is I really wanted to hit every single school in my district and do one event there. Because I was hired a little over a year ago in December of 2022, and I just wasn't able to hit all of the schools. And I think it's really valuable to get out to all of them, to see what the cafeterias are like, to see what the kids are like, to see how the layout is in the lunchroom, to hear from the kitchen staff about what the interactions with other, you know, their coworkers are like, what their interactions with the students are like. You just get a better sense of every school and sort of what's going on there, and maybe how you can best help. And I also think it's unfair to only, you know, give that nutrition education to like some schools, some grade levels, and not others. So I really just wanted to get to everybody. And I know this might not necessarily be possible or the most, you know, practical. I know this might not always be possible or the most practical for, you know, every school year, but I really wanted to do it this school year, since this is my first full school year that I am working as a dietitian there. I've been doing really good with this, and I think I have like 2 to 4 schools maybe left that I gotta do events at, and I'm doing one actually next week, and then I'm gonna be doing one in February, and we'll just keep going until I hit all of them. Okay, the last goal that I'm gonna share today, because this video is already getting kind of long, is that I want to do a nutrition lesson in a health class. So I'm kind of picturing maybe a junior high or high school level group of kids and reaching out to a health teacher or, I don't know, a science teacher. I'm just thinking because like when I grew up, science was where we had like the health section, but where I am, I think they actually have like dedicated health teachers. So I want to reach out to somebody who, you know, teaches just general health and see if we could set up a way for me to give a lesson in a class, but maybe like it might take multiple like days or weeks or whatever, but maybe to hit like every class in a certain grade level, you know what I mean? So I could do like the whole, you know, I'm just making this up, but 10th grade or something. There's so many topics that I could do, you know, I could do mindful eating, I could do, you know, reading a nutrition facts label, I could do, you know, how to create a balanced plate, I could talk about grocery shopping, like there's just so many things that I could touch on, and I think that's something to think about. Like I'm not exactly sure which topic I would choose. I probably would consult some other dietitians and see if they had any recommendations for me, especially depending on the grade level that we end up going with. And I say we because it's not just up to me, it's up to the other people that I'm collaborating with as well. And they'd probably know who would be the most receptive, slash maybe who needs it the most, I don't know. But I would love to do that because as much as, you know, presenting gives me anxiety, it's also the most fulfilling part of my job. Like I love educating. That's definitely my favorite thing about being a dietitian, and I want to do more of that. And most of what I've been doing in terms of education is more for like very, very young kids. So not that you can't educate, but it's just very simplistic and generalistic, and I would love to get a little bit more in depth with some of the older kids. So that's all I'm gonna be sharing in this video. That's only like half of my goals. I don't know exactly how many that was or how many are left because I just did bullet points, so they're not like numbered, but it looks like about half. So I hope that gave you maybe a little bit of insight into what I do at my job and what I'm hoping to accomplish this year. You know, by the end of 2024, I'm hoping that I can hit on each of these things or at least like start working on them. I know I wrote like a lot of goals, just kind of like brain dumping. So I don't even know how realistic it is to do all of these things, but I definitely want to try. Once again, if you're interested in a part 2, let me know in the comments below. You can keep up with me on my Instagram. My username is in the description below. I also vlogged one of my work from home days as a school dietitian. I talked a little bit about what I was working on. So if you're interested in a little bit more information, feel free to go ahead and watch that video. With that said, I wish you the best on accomplishing your goals in 2024. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.